Heyo, what up guys? This is Taylor, and we are going to be playing Shiz to the Numa because every time I ask for a map, you guys are always very adamant about it, and I only do it very rarely. Mainly because this is one of the most difficult maps, to be honest. Playing solo on this map is pretty difficult, especially when I'm doing what I'm doing today, which is essentially disregarding every little bit of the gameplay and really probably not even paying attention to what I'm doing, just kind of using my zombie instincts. God, that's so freaking lame that I have zombie instincts. God, why can't I have something cool? But, you know, it's okay. Everybody has a thing. So, hopefully I can play through enough rounds to answer some of your questions. But if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I have been getting topics and things for these videos. And I'm just looking at my Twitter feed as I'm doing this. And I'm kind of just scrolling up through all the suggestions and telling you guys who says them and then answering them or going off the topic or whatever the person wants me to do. So if you guys are interested in that, follow me on Twitter. And if you don't want to follow me on Twitter, that's totally cool because I completely realize that Twitter is pretty stupid. Like, it's dumb. Like, what's the point? What is the point? It's one of those things that got popular that if, like, you had told me that this was an idea, I would have been like, what the hell are you thinking? You mean that you really think that people are going to take the time to set up an account just so they can send sentence fragments to one another over the internet? Like, who gives a shit? I mean, I don't know. But apparently people do, so check me out. But with that, I will click on over to the Google Chrome and start on these questions. All right. Thoughts on the Electoral College versus popular vote or other for election of president? There are definitely a lot of problems with the Electoral College. God damn it, phone, you ruined it! But the worst, I guess, would be the fact that living in lowly or low population states gives you much more of a voice than living in a normally or highly populated state. For instance, if you live in like Wyoming or Idaho or a state with not very many people, you still get to elect 2 senators, and that means that your vote in essence counts like 50 times more than someone who's voting for a senator in California because they have a much higher population. So relatively, it's worth a lot less. So that's one of the biggest problems. What else? I mean, popular vote, like, I just don't know if that's reasonable, you know? Like, it's just a lot of work. But I guess that would be much better, and it would prevent a lot more voter fraud than Electoral College. I don't know, though. It seems like voter fraud is pretty rampant, and it's scary when you see the things that are going on with our country right now, because even if all of our efforts work, it's still a likely possibility that these elections could be rigged beforehand. Like, we don't know that. Like, there's evidence that, you know, these ballot machines are very easily manipulated. So that's a scary thought. But that's all I've got to say about that. Thank you for that, Mr. Alan Olengad. Alan O. Legend. I'm going to say it like that. I don't think that's right, but it doesn't matter. Next person, iKyrect. Should weed be legal and Pokemon? Yeah, weed should definitely be legal. There's really, like, I've never had an argument with someone where I've been on the side that weed should be legal and they've been on the side that weed shouldn't be legal, and they've had a reasonable position. Honestly, and that's not to discount them. I'm just saying that I have never heard an argument from the other side about why weed should not be legal. I mean, they've done plenty of experiments on it now. They've studied it extensively, and they know now that a lot of the adverse effects that were theorized and put in propaganda films like Reefer Madness are not the case. That's just not true at all. So I don't know. I don't know how so many people are still so disillusioned about it, but it's definitely not dangerous, and it should be legal. I mean, just think about how much money is spent every day on illegal drug trafficking that the U.S. government could see a little bit of. And if they're seeing a little bit of that, chances are that's going to result in a little bit lower of our taxes, you know? Because, I mean, we already do stuff like that to people who smoke cigarettes. Like, Lord forbid you smoke cigs in the U.S. because it costs like $10 a pack. It's ridiculous. Which, one thing I'll say right now, I'm not okay with that. I don't think they should tax cigarette smokers that heavily. I think that's kind of a dick move there. It's like a sin tax. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna do that? Well, my old-timey Puritan beliefs don't think that's good, so tax for you, bastard. So yeah, not cool with that. Snakebite97 asks, do you like the TV show Doctor Who? And how did you learn Santa isn't real? Or rather, how old were you when you learned Santa isn't real? I've never seen Doctor Who. If it's on Netflix, I'll give it a shot. As for Santa, I guess I never thought Santa was real, actually. My parents never told me he was real. When I was like 5 or 6, I asked my parents where the presents came from, and they said my grandma. And so I never even had the childhood illusion of Santa. So I don't know. I don't really care though. Like it never really struck me until a few years ago that like kids used to believe in Santa. Like I always thought that like everybody kind of understood that was a kid. Like yeah, even if your parents say he's real, like come on now, he's not real. Like use a little bit of logic. But apparently there were some kids out there who just didn't know. Oh, best story about this. I forgot. A kid in my 6th grade class. I'm not going to say his name. I'll say his name. Adam. This kid, Adam, in my 6th grade class, he was told in 6th grade that Santa Claus wasn't real, and like during class by someone, and his parents had legitimately never told him. And this 6th grade kid thought Santa was real, and he was openly weeping, like crying about Santa not being real. We're like Jesus Christ, dude, settle down. Like the Easter Bunny's not real either. Are you gonna go into a conniption if we talk about that? Like Jesus. Can 1000, you should talk about how you enjoy Modern Warfare 3 or don't. I would love that, and thanks for putting out quality content. Oh, well, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. I do enjoy Modern Warfare 3. Every time a video game comes out, the horde mentality kicks in, or I guess the hive think, whatever you want to call it, kicks in, and everybody suddenly just starts to just adapt everybody else's opinions for their own. So for the first week of the game, before anybody really has a solid opinion of the game, everybody's like, oh, this game is so much fun, I love it. And then once people start playing it more and finding glitches and showing it to other people, and they start complaining about it, then everybody else starts formulating opinions like, yeah, I guess they're right, this game does suck ass. And then there'll be that one nostalgic dumb idiot who's like, you know what? Black Ops was better! And it's like, dude, shut the hell up. Jesus. Every time a new COD game comes out, you revert right back to your old ways because you're a dumbass hypocrite. Like, that's really what it is. So many COD players, so many commentators. They'll play the game, the new game will come out, after incessantly bitching about Black Ops. Just non-stop total bitch fest. Like, straight up PMS 24/7. Some people will just complain, and then as soon as Modern Warfare 3 comes out, they have a little reverse honeymoon where they're like, you know, I wish things were back like in Black Ops when the game was good and simple and fun. And I mean, like, just shut up, dude. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's a video game. It's not the end of the world. So that's how I feel about it. Honestly, seeing people complain about video games in a way that's not constructive, and that's just in a very bitchy and just kind of rude mentality, really just irritates me. I don't like it. I like the game, though, as I said. I think it's fun. I think it's way more fun than Black Ops. Much faster pace, more fun guns, better colors. I mean, it's not as dark and dim and sad. I feel like you're in a torture chamber half the time in Black Ops. Stillness wants to know if I would rather work for myself or a steady job. I would rather work for myself, I guess, even if that means that there's a higher risk of failure, just because I'd rather take the shot and fail than have never taken a shot, you know? I mean, you only live once, so might as well seize the day if it's possible. So that'd be really cool to work for myself. Aries405 wants to know my thoughts on reality TV shows nowadays. Reality TV is candy for weak-minded morons. That's exactly what it is. It's just for people who don't want to take the time to just really think, and they just want to sit back and just soak in inane bullshit that's fed to them. That's what it's for. And by reality TV shows, I'm pretty much using Jersey Shore as pretty much just the quintessence of the modern reality show. Just the perfect example of what it is and why I hate it. It's stupid. Like, who wants to sit around and watch these straight up morons? Not even like, I'm not saying moron like rude, I'm saying moron like these straight up stupid people spew their bullshit. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Who can conceivably care about Snooki's life? Like, she's a spoiled young woman who just is how? There are no words to describe how ridiculous I find it that show is on the air. And the fact that people watch it, and that people talk about it like it's a good show. Oh, it's mind-blowing to me. I just don't get it. Like, who cares? Like, at least with a show like Ultimate Fighter. Ultimate Fighter is a reality show. I don't know if they show it in other countries. They probably do. UFC's kind of everywhere. But they fight each other to be the next UFC Ultimate Fighting Champion. And I don't have a problem with something like that because they're actually training towards something. It shows them working towards a goal, and you see the progress as it goes. There are like actual plot lines because, you know, there's something around which the plot to develop, like a fight. But